The end justifies the means. Have you ever witnessed a dramatic scene in a tournament? Of unlikely and long forgotten heroes, underhandedness, and adrenaline-pumping plot twists. As we're watching the FIFA World Cup in 2022, Ghana is expected to face Uruguay again, and Luis Suarez could face the Black Stars once more. The two countries have only met once before, in the 2010 World Cup quarterfinals in South Africa. But their meeting was far from a pleasant one. Uruguay won a penalty shot 4-2 after a 1-1 tie. That game had one of the most dramatic endings in World Cup history, with much controversy surrounding one of the pivotal moments, with then the 23-year-old Suarez at the center of it all. Over a decade later, the incident continues to elicit strong reactions and debate about sportsmanship and what could have been the result. Let's recall and take a look back at what had happened. You want to stick to the end of today's video for another key to untapping your potential. Welcome to Untapping Your Potential, where we will share with you motivational stories, motivational figures, comeback stories, and public speaking tips that will keep you growing and inspire you to take action. It's still hard for soccer fans to comprehend what had happened almost 12 years ago. It still haunts me today. Sometimes I feel like the world should go back again so I can redeem myself, Asamoah Gyan said in an interview with Pulse Ghana. On July 2nd, 2010, Uruguay and Ghana met in Johannesburg, South Africa for their 2010 World Cup quarterfinal. Their tournament was held on the continent for the first time, and the host country advanced far in the competition. South Africa was the center of attention. Cameroon, ranked 19th in the world, caught the attention of African football fans. At first, nobody gave Ghana a second thought. Ghana's national football team, the Black Stars, had only qualified for their second World Cup. Their first experience in 2006 inspired hope when they miraculously qualified from a group that included Italy, the Czech Republic, and the United States, teams that were ranked in the top 5 in the world at the time. But the fairy tale came to an end when Brazil thrashed Ghana 3-0 in the round of the 16. As a result, Ghana arrived in the South Africa World Cup 2010 with the competition's youngest squad. What the team lacked in experience, they made up for with tenacity and determination. Uruguay, unlike Ghana, had a more consistent technical bench. Uruguay had been going through a rough patch prior to the World Cup. They were eliminated from the 2006 World Cup after losing in the playoffs to Australia. Ghana faced Uruguay for the first time with the hopes and support of a whole continent on their shoulders. For many, this was Africa's moment to shine on the global stage, and the Black Stars had proven they were up to the task. As a result, Uruguay went into the 2010 World Cup having played the most qualifying games of any team, 20 in total. Suli Muntari gave the Africans the lead in the 45th minute. They were pegged back 10 minutes later, however, with Diego Forlan scoring for the South Americans. The game went into overtime, and Ghana had a golden opportunity to win in the final seconds. With 1:20 left on the clock, the very last play of the game, in overtime before penalties, the ball comes in. Dominique Adia heads the ball for the goal. The Black Stars looking to defeat and punish the Uruguayan defenders if it hadn't been for the brave decision of one man, Luis Suarez. After a cross, the ball bounced off the keeper's hand and was only 3 yards away from the goal when Steven Appiah shot it with the left foot with no goalkeeper to stop it. But Suarez miraculously saved it with his feet, and the ball bounced back to Dominic Adeyemi, who hit it past the goalkeeper and almost into the net. In just seconds' time, Suarez miraculously saved it with both hands, receiving a well-deserved red card and handing Ghana the penalty. Ghana had the opportunity to finish the game with a win, to seal the deal, to advance to the semifinals, becoming the first African team to do so. However, Asamoah Gyan, a name that will live in infamy for Ghana, steps up the whole world watching, the entire African nation on their feet. No pressure, right? But his penalty kick was blocked by the bar. He missed a free kick, hitting the crossbar to send Ghana in a penalty shootout with Uruguay. Suarez, who was still on the field when the penalty was awarded, ran down the tunnel in joy. During the penalty shootouts, Uruguay makes their first 3 penalty shots at ease. Ghana successfully scores their first 2. But when the third shot takes place, the Ghanaian Mensah misses. However, the next player for Uruguay, Maximiliano, steps up and misses the shot, having Uruguay miss out on the advantage. It is still 3-2. Dominique Adia is now next up for Ghana, and he also misses on the penalty. Sebastián Abreu, better known as El Loco, or the Madman, is next up, and he lays an easy chip shot to seal the deal. Uruguay advances to the semifinals after winning 4-2 on penalties. In an interview after his controversial goal line handball, Suarez said, "The hand of God now belongs to me. Mine is the real hand of God. I made the best save of the tournament. Sometimes in training I play as a goalkeeper, so it was worth it. There was no alternative but for me to do that, and when they missed the penalty, I thought it is a miracle, and we are alive in the tournament." So let me ask you again, do the end justify the means? This question has been asked for millennia, and the answers have rarely been perfect in their finite form. When you were younger, it was all too easy to believe that the end justifies the means. If you wanted a cookie, you would gladly steal one from your younger sibling's hand, because you wanted a cookie and got one. The end justifies the means. Or if you wanted something, you would tell your parents. Maybe be stubborn and cause tantrum just to get what you wanted. The formula was absolute, and it felt somehow right. Your desired result was so good that the consequences didn't matter anymore. Tell me, do you still feel this way now? As you grow old, you begin to realize that you also need to consider other people's feelings in order to be kind and loving members of your community and society as a whole. You realize that taking what you want when you want it is not socially acceptable, and then you must recognize that sometimes the end does not justify the means. Those who are overly pleasant, considerate, or differential will not achieve the same level of success as those who are willing to be more ruthless. Let's examine what occurred during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Given what you know about Luis Suarez, it would be easy to lump his performance against Ghana as a villainous exploit. Suarez could even be said to have single-handedly saved Uruguay. But how bad was it really? If you were in his shoes, what would be the right course of action? Was spreading himself to block the ball anything more than an instant reaction that any player, consider his teammate Jorge Fusile, who tried and failed, would make? Would it be more justifiable because it stemmed from his desire to win and his belief that any act undertaken to achieve victory is worthwhile? All things considered, according to FIFA rules, he was given a red card, ultimately giving Ghana the opportunity to win the game with a penalty shot, but Ghana lost. What if Suarez didn't use his hand at all? Ghana would have advanced, but they did not, and in the eyes of many, Ghana deserved to win. Think outside the box for a second. What are you willing to sacrifice for the sake of your country? If the end justifies the means, would you break the law for the greater good? How far are you prepared to go? Was it really the greater good for Uruguay? After all, they didn't win the World Cup that year. And don't ask if you're proud of what you have accomplished. Instead, ask whether you are proud of how you will achieve it. To the end, justify the means. I'll let you decide. Thanks for watching this video. How would you like to hear more motivational stories on a consistent basis? Do me a favor and support the channel by sharing, commenting below, and please make sure to like and hit that subscribe button to get the latest update. Soon, you will be on your way to feeling inspired.